Greetings, fellow gorehounds, and welcome back to a Blood Splattered vlog. I'm the Horror Guru.
And I'm Count Jackula.
And today we're going to talk about The Girl on the Third Floor, which is the directorial debut of Travis Stevens, who, if that name doesn't sound familiar, let me tell you, this guy is prolific, but as a producer. In fact, he's had his hand in a lot of movies that I personally love, from Starry Eyes, We Are Still Here, Jodorowsky's Dune.
Yeah.
He's produced
he's
a
the
ton
one who
of stuff.
produced that
He
documentary.
produced Big Ass Spider.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like it's
Is there anything that he's produced that we've seen that we haven't liked?
Not that I can think of. I think he was a producer on XX, but I think the one that he produced that was in that movie I liked. So
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and even then, like the other segments of XX weren't bad; they just weren't as spectacular.
Oh yeah, that was just a really mediocre movie that had a lot of potential to be a lot better than it was.
Should have kept the Soska sisters on that.
Oh man,
That'd have been amazing.
But anyway, so Travis Stevens has finally made the transition into directing films with a film starring CM Punk of WWE fame.
His acting debut.
In his acting debut, as far as I'm aware. Unless you count wrestling, in which case...
Well, I mean, like, all right, feature film debut.
Feature film debut.
You know?
So naturally, knowing almost none of that going in, because we just watched this because it was on Netflix and people told us to watch it.
Thank you, by the way. Thank you, by the way. We knew about it, but it definitely, like, lit a fire under our ass to watch it.
The thing I didn't know was it was a Travis Stevens movie, and I didn't know that CM Punk was in it. And imagine my surprise when I put on the movie, and I was like, oh shit, that's CM Punk.
Yeah.
Oh shit, it's directed by Travis Stevens. I know that name. Where do I know that name? Turns out, he was involved with a lot of movies I love.
Yeah.
So,
I think the first thing about this movie that we have to fucking address is the fact that the trailer lies.
Oh.
The trailer gives you the impression that this is going to be a fucking, like, standard, like, haunted house, weird mystery.
Oh, no. There's
kind
not
of film. Yeah. No. What this is basically CM Punk doing a Bruce Campbell impression in a movie with a sense of humor of Evil Dead.
Yeah.
You know,
It's ostensibly a haunted house tale, but it's a very unique one. Because when you say that, you think in your mind, you start thinking of movies like Insidious, like The Conjuring, but it's not like those movies.
No, not at all.
No, this is like a completely different movie. It's got way more of a dark, twisted sense of humor, kind of like Cheap Thrills, another movie that he produced.
Yeah, it's a bit closer to Cheap Thrills.
Like really dark, it's got a twisted sense of humor, and CM Punk, like you said, doing a Bruce Campbell kind of impression. Like, low-key, I'm watching this movie, and I'm like, I could totally imagine the same movie with 80s Bruce Campbell in it.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Just losing his mind as his house fucks with him the entire time.
Yeah, because that feels like the kind of performance he's given.
Yep.
Like, he looks like Bruce Campbell in like, Army of Darkness.
And basically, the majority of this movie is one man in a house that's fucking with him as he's trying to reconstruct it. So in a sense, it's kind of got like almost like a House vibe, the movie House.
Yes.
Not the Japanese one, but the American one.
Yeah, the one with like Norm and shit.
But with a hypersexual twist.
Yep.
That we'll get into when we get to the spoilers, but this is also a bit of an erotic thriller on top of everything.
Yep. Yep. There's sexy times in this movie.
So if combining like a horror comedy in the vein of House or Evil Dead with an erotic thriller is your bag, then my God, have we found the movie for you?
Oh yeah, dude. This movie's right up your alley. 4 stars. Check it out.
Other things I really like about the movie is actually it kind of shows that it is entirely possible to tackle the subject of like toxic manhood and toxic masculinity in a humorous way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And like, in a way that still kind of fits within the mold of, like, the splatter movies and stuff.
Oh, yeah, because it is a splatter movie. It's not as bloody as the Evil Dead flicks, by a long shot. But it is not shy about doing fucked up shit.
It's kind of like, if you've seen Army of Darkness, in Army of Darkness, like Ash is kind of like a parody of the action hero stereotype, the overly macho action hero stereotype. But at the end of the day, the Evil Dead movies weren't really trying to say anything with that, whereas this movie is actually more directly parodying, or not really parodying, but criticizing very toxic male behaviors.
Yeah. Because, like, you know, how to put it. Everyone knows that when you're in a fucking movie and you're watching a man rebuild a house, he's talking about reconstructing the broken parts of his shattered life, you know? And that's absolutely the plot of this. That's definitely that plot, wrong word. It's definitely the subtext.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 100%. One thing I really thought was really, really awesome and nuanced about this movie is that this is a movie where you start off pretty much on the main character's side. You feel kind of empathetic towards him. But as the movie evolves, you learn more and more about him that make him less and less likable.
Yeah.
It's like watching a character go from likable to completely and utterly unforgivable by the final, like, fucking scene.
By the end, you're like, man, you're a fucking dickhead, dude. Like, man.
And what I like about that is that kind of shows how, like, people like him can come across charming if you don't know much about them.
Yes.
Which I thought was a nice touch.
Yeah, there's people who are superficially charming but are actually, like, narcissistic fuckwits.
Again, reminding me a lot of stuff that happened in Cheap Thrills, which also had elements of that.
Yeah. Oh, man, that was so good. This movie, once again, I know I already said 4 stars, but thumbs up.
Total thumbs up. Like, this is not the movie you're expecting it to be. If you've seen the trailer is not giving you a good indication of what this movie is. So go into this movie not expecting that. Expect everything we've described so far, and you will have a good time.
Yeah,
because we definitely did.
It's definitely a horror comedy.
Like, I watched it first, and like after I watched it, I'm like, no, we got to show Jack this. We got to show Jack. So we showed it to Jack, and so Jack's sitting there watching the movie, going through the same roller coaster that I did watching it. But with, like, a little added bonus, because part of the plot is the characters trying to reconstruct the house. So Jack is sitting there, like, pointing out everything he's doing wrong.
Yeah, it's like, plumbing doesn't work that way. What the fuck are you doing? You know, and it's not the movie being shittily written. The guy's actually supposed to be bad at what he's doing.
Oh, yeah. There's, like, an entire, like, thematic point to him not taking any of the advice of the people around him and thinking he just knows how to do it. That's part of the point.
Yeah, he knows how to do it because he's watched YouTube videos, which, on the one hand, hey, if you've got the talent, you can learn a lot from them. But if you don't, ain't gonna do you a lot good.
Also, doesn't help if you're getting drunk on the job, but that's another detail we'll get into. So anyway, I highly recommend this movie. I believe Netflix bought it and distributed it, I think.
I don't know what... It's definitely on Netflix.
It's on Netflix right now. I don't know if it's a Netflix original movie, but I know it's on there right now. That's how we watched it. We're basically, like, we're going through a bunch of movies that recently hit streaming that we missed last year and trying to bang through them as much as possible.
Yeah. And this one came out, like, I think it came out in January?
I think it came out in March of last year.
Oh, geez.
Like, it was like... It's been, like, a year since this officially came out, but I'm pretty sure that was, like, a limited
limited
theatrical festival release, and then slowly expanded until the point it ended up on streaming.
It's a good movie,
but I love the fuck out of it, and I'm glad I saw it at any point in time, much less late. So, oh shit. I just remembered something, so I am going to insert this into the pre-spoiler section, but there is a dog in this movie, and the dog does die, so you have been warned. With that said, I suppose we should finally just move on to the spoilers so we could talk about what actually happens in this movie. So
yeah, because it's a twisted roller coaster the entire time.
Absolutely. And there are things to spoil. So if you need more details to know if you want to see this movie, then hold on to your butts, because here are the spoilers.
Okay, so a lot of the plot revolves around this girl, grown woman, you know, like early 20s, something like that, who keeps coming around to have sex with the CM Punk character.
Now, mind you, we establish almost immediately in the movie that this guy has bought this house to start a family with his wife.
Yep.
You know, she's pregnant. She's back in the city in which they used to live, and they're moving out to the country to start a simple family life. And he is going to rebuild this house before his wife gets there later on. I think, is it later on in the month or the week? It's something like that.
Yeah.
She's going to come later, and he's going to fix up the house while that's happening because she's the breadwinner. Because he recently lost his job for some reason that we find out as the movie goes on.
At the end, yeah, we find out near the end like why he lost his job, and that's one of the reasons you're like, oh. You're an asshole.
Yeah, it just becomes progressively more clear as the movie goes on that this guy's a piece of shit. But there's a lot of really cool subtle things it does at the beginning of the movie. Like at the beginning of the movie, like he takes out like a beer while he's working on stuff, and he drinks the beer and he puts it on one of the countertops, but the
mantle.
shelves.
Yeah,
the mantle. There we go. And his wife notes it in the background and expresses a lot of concern. So we get our first indication. Oh shit, they're coming to get us. Sorry, there's sirens outside.
Come to get us.
I just had a total ADD moment of like, oh shit, 5-0. So we get our first indication with this that he might have a drinking problem.
Yep.
Which it says a lot that the man has a drinking problem, and the moment he's in a house away from his wife, he immediately opens up a bottle of beer. Says a lot. And she's constantly like calling him and trying to offer like, hey, like so-and-so can come and help you, or maybe we should call some people to come in and help you because I don't think you're going to be able to fix it in time.
We can afford dudes to come in and help with this, and so why don't we?
Refusing all help and trying to rebuild this house himself. And while he's been doing this, we go like a couple days, and all of a sudden this random neighbor keeps showing up and trying to sleep with him.
Yeah. And on the first night, he does.
Yep. Which, again, another indication as we go on that he is more and more of a piece of shit.
Yeah, because you're like, dude, you didn't even put up a fucking argument, you know? Like,
nope.
All right, whatever.
Anyway, sorry. I just realized something we had to record for the spoiler section. So we are back in the spoiler section. And the dude is like, okay, so you're refusing all this help because you're a man. You can do it. You can provide for your family even though you lost your job. So on top of this girl coming in and sleeping with him, we also get like this weird like, I guess like a corrections officer that's showing up and checking in on him at one point.
Yeah.
And like talking about some like sort of federal plea deal he got. And you were like, oh shit, like what's he in for?
Happened?
Was he like a mob informant? Like what the fuck is going on? And it turns out, as we find out over the course of the movie, he was not a mob informant. He was a, what do you call it? One of those Wall Street guys, like the Wolf of Wall Street people that just cheat people out of their retirement funds, basically.
Yeah. Because you think like, oh, he's like some sort of like criminal. Well, I mean, like, you know, like thug, because he's CM Punk. They have all his tattoos on display.
Yep.
And so you're like, oh, he must be like a hard hitting dude. No, he's just like your average fucking like, what do you call it? Like hedge fund piece of shit.
He was one of those Wolf of Wall Street people, you know?
Yeah.
Just trying to cheat old people out of their investment money. And in turn, their retirement funds.
Yep.
So he is an extra piece of shit now.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, you're like, oh, but you don't find that out until much later.
No, you don't find that out until much later, but you find that out as the movie progresses, and I love the subtle ways it slowly peels that information as the movie goes on.
Yeah, because they keep referring to him as the King of Chicago.
Yeah, and you're like, what does that mean? What does that mean? What the fuck does that mean? But what I like about it is that because he's played by CM Punk, who... anyone who's ever watched wrestling and seen CM Punk knows that he is charismatic as fuck. Like you're kind of predisposed to like him at the beginning.
Oh yeah, totally.
So like you start to watch as you're like, oh man, I like you, but that was a shitty move cheating on your wife. Oh man, I like you, but you did that. And then eventually by the end of the movie, you're like, nah, I fucking hate you, dude. You're a piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, one of the other things I really like about this movie is there's not a point in the movie where you go, don't do that. Why are you doing that? Like, it's one of those, you understand why every character is doing everything.
Yep.
You know, you're not like, oh, you're stupid for doing that. No, why are you letting it get away? Why don't you call the cops? That kind of shit. That doesn't happen.
Like, even if it's not, like, a logical reason why someone's doing something, there's definitely an emotional reason why someone's doing it. Because you get at the beginning that part of his like weird obstinance around seeking help in rebuilding the house is that like some part of his manhood needs to be rebuilt here.
Yeah.
Because he's got to prove he can do it. But as the movie shows, that ends up being a bit of a downfall. So
Yeah. That ends up not being the case because he can't.
All right, so we haven't really gone into what's actually the deal with the house he bought. And this is where, as a haunted house, it becomes truly fucking unique. Because normally, when someone buys a haunted house, you have like 3 or 4 options of what may have happened there. Either someone died in the house in some sort of violent manner.
Yeah.
Usually
Satanic ritual,
some sort of cult thing. Maybe a Native American burial ground, or maybe if you want to switch it up.
only move the headstones.
Or maybe if you want to switch it up, it's just a cemetery or something like that. You know, there's these certain options. This is one of the first movies where, or it was built over like an institution or something like an old mental asylum. This is the first movie where I've seen the house was built over an old whorehouse.
Yeah. It's like an old whorehouse, so it has it's haunted by the energy of a brothel.
The energy of a brothel that was essentially run by like an H.H. Holmes style fucking like murder killer guy.
Yep.
So everything about the house and the way the haunt happens is hypersexual, right down to the weird cum-like goo that comes out of the faucets.
Yeah.
And the walls.
Yes.
There are points in which like body parts appear in holes in the walls.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa.
Yeah, like, you know, sometimes it's like a pair of lips glory hole, like
yeah. Other times it's other body parts, you know?
Other times it's other things. Let me put it this way. A couple people get fucking killed and stuffed in the walls, then they come out of the walls, kinda.
Like, let me put it this way. You have the classic horror movie setup from, like, The Changeling, where you have, like, the ball that's coming down the stairs. In this movie, it's not a ball. It's constantly this marble that keeps appearing and falling down the stairs or just rolling along the floor or something. But the implications of this marble is fucked up when you get right down to it.
Yeah, when you get right down to why the marble is a thing, you're like, oh.
First off, let me just say that not all the people in this brothel were of age. And second off, let me just say that marble's coming out of somewhere.
Yeah. I gotta appreciate this movie for going all the way with its premise.
Oh my god, yes. 100%. Another thing I like that this movie does, and this is since we're in the spoiler territory, I can talk about this. It switches protagonists about halfway through. It basically pulls a psycho or a hostel or any of those movies in which a protagonist switch happens halfway through.
Yeah.
Whereas
House of Whipcord is another one.
Another good one. About halfway through this movie, it becomes about the wife and not about CM Punk. CM Punk, halfway into the movie, gets fucked up by this house and disappears. And then the wife, basically looking for him, comes to the house and is like, what happened? And then the house starts fucking with her. And she is basically the final girl of this story.
Yeah. She comes in. She basically, CM Punk lasts the first 2 reels and she comes in and completes the 3rd.
Because basically what CM Punk thing shows is shows how this house preys on people. It preys on them in a hypersexual way. Also, the greatest fucking warning I've ever seen given in a horror movie, where it's just like, hey son, are you gay? Excuse me? No, there's nothing wrong with being gay or anything. It's just, that house don't work well for straight men.
Yeah. Oh, God. The unusually woke, drunken bar, bowling alley fucking guy. Holy shit.
I love that hat trick. The movie kept pulling that a lot, where you'd think that the townsfolk were going to be some sort of like country bumpkin, like racist people, but instead they're like super progressive and like and like very accepting, and that the people coming from the city are actually just really like prejudiced. Like,
yeah. You're like, oh, you're just all country bumpkins and fucking like hate gay people and think women are fucking bullshit. And that turns out no.
Yep.
Oh yeah, no, that was great.
So naturally, because the wife becomes the main character,
gay people can have kids too.
Yeah, exactly. I love that line. Because the wife becomes the main character in the second half, it happens a little differently than it did for him, because when he was there, it's basically about seducing him. But for her, it's a little different because it's less about seducing her and more about making her understand.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's definitely... Yeah, because by the end of the story, there's definitely supposed to be an understanding between the wife and the house.
Yes.
You know, but...
An accord.
Yeah, there's an accord that has been reached, and a lot of it, it's a reoccurring theme in a lot of movies lately that I really like, which is, you got a big, dark, evil, nasty thing that could just fucking kill you. But like in The Woditsch, the real trick is don't deny it.
Well, it kind of reminded me of, and this is spoilers for the Babadook, it reminded me a lot of the ending of the Babadook.
Yeah.
Where at the end of the Babadook, she learns to live with the grief monster.
Yeah.
Like, in this movie, it has a very similar kind of ending where she learns to live with the sex house.
Yeah.
But it's okay because she's a woman and her baby's a girl, so it's gonna be fine.
Yeah. The house is not as antagonistic towards women.
No, it's again, that house don't work well for straight
guys. Yeah.
Because apparently there's actually a gay couple that lived in there before them and was fine.
Yeah, nothing happened. Yeah, what's also got that kind of cool ending where she runs into the pastor across the street.
Oh yeah,
and she's like
the super woke progressive pastor.
Yeah. Where basically she's like, "How did you know?" It's like you knew. You let me go in. She's like, "Yeah, that's kind of the deal." It's like, what do you mean the deal? It's like, I work in a house of God. I watch over this place. That house is for someone else, but it watches over mine.
Yeah, there's this nice little accord that happens here, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if you can't tell already, this is a very strange movie, but I love how unique and different it is.
Oh, yeah. Really good.
I love it. And I also love how gnarly it gets, because we have not gone into detail about it, but the way CM Punk gets his is fucking brutal. Like,
yeah, there is a lot of the joy of the movie is in the details that we haven't gone in.
Let me just put it this way, because I won't go into the full details about it, but basically the house treats him the way the women in the house were treated. A little bit of that hostile action.
Oh
there.
yeah, definitely. I don't know if there's much to say. Look, if you're not convinced to watch this movie by now, I don't know what we could do for you.
Plus the cops are coming apparently again.
Yeah.
5-0.
Hey, Guru.
What's up?
I got something to say. Fuck the police. Fuck police.
Welcome to demonetization.
Woo!
So yeah, Girl on the Third Floor. Truly unique film. Super fucking hypersexual. I wouldn't necessarily say it's super gory, but it does get pretty gnarly.
It's like I said, it's not like Brain Damage or Evil Dead 2 where it's just like buckets of fucking blood constantly.
No, I would have been fine if it had gone there, but it doesn't quite go that far. But there is some gnarly moments. Like there is a dog in a fucking what do you call it? A dryer at one point.
Yeah, a dog in a dryer.
I have to say, of all the things the house did, probably the one point in which I was actually on his side was when they touched that dog.
Yeah. Because yeah.
That was the moment where CM Punk earned my my approval for a second, because I'm like, oh no, they took your dog? All right, fuck that shit.
Done. Done. End that shit, God, but there's a lot of there is some body horror. There's a lot of body horror in it.
Oh yeah, super body horror. We get a little bit of that Cronenberg action, especially when the body parts start appearing in the walls and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, oh man.
It was beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. So I eagerly await the next Travis Stevens directed film, as well as any movie he continues to produce, because I've loved a lot of the shit he's done. And where can they find you?
Well,
Jackula?
You can find me streaming on twitch.tv at Count_Jackula. I stream every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Sunday. And you should come down because we talk about all sorts of random and groovy things. That is where like Yogi Dave Das usually joins me, or John the Joker, or whoever we get for that week. And you should come down because we would love to hang out with you. You should also follow me there because I will randomly stream during the week.
Yep.
But Wednesday and Sunday night are the ones I do it every week.
Yep.
So you should come on down. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at @count_Jackula and at Instagram at Satanic Jackula.
And y'all know me, I'm the Horror Guru. You can find me at the Horror Guru on Twitter, on Twitch, on Facebook. Just look up the Horror Guru and Blood Splattered Cinema and I'll be there. And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this video. And if you haven't already, be sure to ring that notification bell so that you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. And if you would like to help my channel more directly, then be sure to check out my Patreon page. And remember, if you decide to go the Patreon route, even $1 a month can go a long way. And if you, for whatever reason, don't want to support my Patreon page, you can also support Count Jackula's Patreon page. Also, or alternatively, depending upon what you want to go. And again, $1 a month, it goes a long way.
Goes a long way. I like being able to make content, but that's good. Sometimes requires money.
Yeah.
So if you enjoy our views and want more content like this, you know what to do.
Absolutely. And with all that said, my fellow Gorehounds, we're going to go record a vlog on the Hell House LLC trilogy because we managed to binge all 3 this week. And so looking forward to that. Peace out.